Okay, so this is, I know this is messy. I don't think I'm doing this again like this, but anyway, this is the full moon horoscope over Washington, D.C. If you notice, the ascendant, this is the sign coming over the eastern horizon when we had this full moon. This was during the day. It was at 8:35 a.m. So the sun was just coming over the eastern horizon. The sun hit its highest point here, and then it set. So the full moon, the sun had just risen, the moon was down over here. So since this full moon, we have the moon was in Taurus and it moved into Gemini. Well, today, when that happened, that event, the moon moved into the 7th house, which is we the people. The 7th house, we are perceived as Donald's opposition, and not a coincidence, this happened then. This always activates the 7th house when these type of things happen. Moreover, in the 10th house, the public skies above DC, we have Mars, which is aggression, in Libra, which has to do with justice, the scales of justice. So that's being really irritated right now. On top of it, that 25-degree mark is squaring Donald's natal Venus, his money, and his natal Saturn, the thing that actually has been protecting and blocking people from seeing his money. And it also is squaring the eclipse from July 16th. Libra rules the 7th house, so there's a relationship here in the aggression against the people. So that's what I wanted to show you. Okay, hello friends, this is part 2, following up from part 1 of Why California. This one's going to be because California. And I am severely limited in the words that I say because the automated bots and the AI really pick up on when I start talking about things like data and micro targeting people who act out in events like today. And then what happens is, because they pick this stuff up, then I get hammered again by YouTube jail and blah, 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 blah. So I will do my best to speak in ways that you understand, yet in ways that I protected. So if you found this video series, bravo you. Go get a lottery card. You're very lucky. And if you want to see my work again, I'd highly recommend that you subscribe and click the bell for notifications, and then frequently check those, because you'll get unsubscribed and unnotified. That's just the way it works with me and the code I've discovered on my channel, which you can see that I did a video called, I can't even remember. It had to do with peace scores and code and experimental decline, whatever. But anyway, so this is part 2. In part 1, I described what happened in California and what our intelligence agencies and FBI knew. And I took that information and I cross-referenced it with the Tarotstrology, a horoscope where I take tarot cards for specific actors and lay them out for the week. These are those people, and I've done some readings already based on that. So look for November 12th. And what you start to see is a very defined trend on what happens. So here, there are 4 spreads here that I just layered. It looks messy right now, but it will make sense. The first reading I did was just on the state of California as an observer, asking the state of California what happened. And those are the cards on the bottom. Those cards are this deck, the Hermetic Tarot deck. Then I asked the person who acted out this event. And that person is in this Rider-Waite, my old icky one, that responds so well to any question I ever ask about Donald, because it's been eclipsed. There are some energies that are hardwired into this card. The third, this is where it gets interesting. The third spread has to do with data, social media data, micro-targeting. What did that know about what happened in the events in California related to the Knight of Pentacles, a highly valued person to act out, and the Knight of Wands, the person who actually did it? And that's in this deck. And I already explained when I asked intelligence agencies and the FBI, but this is their deck, the Ghost. So you can see I've already started clustering the results. What is the most interesting thing here is the orange. The orange are the final tallies across these readings that involve Mercer, Fivehead, the Coke, bro, it's the only one, and then the kids plus Jared. So they're the orange. So they have the most numbers. The second most numbers are Donald and Barr. And they're not only individually, but also collectively. Where you see, I ended up using DT8, DT8, DT8. That's because at the full moon, I couldn't understand why Donald and Barr drew the 8 of Cups in the 12th house of secrets. 12th house of secrets right here, because what I found out, 8 of Cups means you're setting something up, and only he and Donald had the 8 of Cups for setting something up, and that caught my eye. Oh, Pompeo ended up with it in the 7th house against We the People, their opposition, setting something up. And so did Mulvaney in the 9th house. Putin's house lands far away, so there's communication going on, targeting people, and lands far away. The most interesting thing, and now this same trend happened when I did this, for when this happened in Texas and Ohio. I look at shoot, darn it. The active person, the action person. I asked what triggered you. This person, look at all that red, is covered in data. That's where they aligned. They also have a lot of purple. Purple has to do with the state of California. And then some green, which it lines up with the intel agencies and what they know so far about how these people are picked. Then if you look at the state of California, there's only 2 places where they are hit with data. I'll explain that more. But they share patterns that our intelligence agencies know. Data standing by itself only has 2 hits from intelligence, and then the active person hits 3 times. This 7 of Cups, though, now this is so revealing, because when I did the Taroscope, the 7 of Cups was coming up. I didn't like the 8 of Cups because it usually means they're setting something up. The 7 of Cups means they're really trying to hide something. So let's go here. Card of the reading. This is that active person. Had this as the card of the reading because, they're just doing whatever. They responded to that 7 of Cups activity. On the ascendant for the state of California was a 9 of Wands, a big burden that the state was going to carry. The data King of Swords had the King of Swords, Bill Barr, and then the intelligence had Russia. The High Priestess always goes back to the secrets that are shared with Russia. So the Seven of Cups was on the ascendant. This is what gives life to a chart. The card of a reading, this is what gives life to that. Oh God, I sure cannot believe I said that. I think I'm going to have to silence those words. So that person also aligned with the state of California. And what was, that's the card of the reading, covering. What was covering California? That was covering California. As was data. Data and California. That's what they had in common. And this is what was giving life, the most important thing to that person. The intelligence agencies know that this was an op. And what this active person was just covered in patriotism for the United States of America. But I got ahead of myself. So this Seven of Cups, the thing that's in disguise, shows up as the card of the reading for the active person, what's covering the state of California, and what is covering the data. Crazy. That is what showed up for all of them. So the signifier. If we look at the signifier about what would happen in California, well, here we have a young person who has the value, who has some values, who has suddenly decided their values are important enough for them to take some action on that and act out in a valuable way. The state of California, the Queen of Pentacles. Well, who is Queen of Pentacles? Queen of Pentacles is Mercer. It also shows up as Pelosi with receipts. State of California, Pelosi showed up in 3 areas. Those were really the only areas she showed up a lot in. We have the Six Wands mob, which this is the, is this the data? Yes, the data. So this was a request by the Six Wands mob, the shared celebration, to find this person, given Mercer, and this person, the intelligence and agencies are just kind of retreating and watching what happens. What's covering all this? There's an op, there's the cloud, his patriotism, and the data and the active person match on what's covering the event. The challenge, though, here we go. The challenge was for the FBI is trying to find out the origin of the Ace of Pentacles, the money, or the value of this. We have, the data says the data is the challenge for the data is to reveal that person. Well, there's that person who is disgusted by what's happening. And, the challenge for the data is filtering all them out. So the challenge for the state of California was the sun. This is Donald Trump. The Two of Wands. This is at the root of it. The Intel FBI sees this as an op that's happening. The data is targeting Pelosi's state because she's impeaching. And then here, look at this. We have a Six of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles, he's got a brand new idea, a brand new thing. And the state of California with the Six of Pentacles, they have filtered and they found their valuable target. What's crowning this in the skies for everyone to see with this app? Well, the FBI Intel see this as an operation. This World card often shows up for me as Coke, and I think that they know that Coke is involved with this. It has to do with the timing. The data had to generate the correct timing of making this happen. The active person, the Ace of Pentacles struck. This is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to get going. I'm going to go quickly. And the state of California, 10 swords in their back again. In the past, Our intel knows that in the past, this is related to the Republican Party. The data is trying to generate Page of Sword. Maybe they're riling people up in social media, trying to trigger them. And here we go, the Eight of Cups. This is that active person. In the past, they responded to what was set up for them. And here we go. State of California, here's the Knight of Pentacles, shows up in response to that. I will tell you, this Knight of Pentacles, what does the Eight of Cups mean between Barr and Trump setting something up? This is what was to happen in the future. A Knight of Pentacles. They were going to find a Knight of Pentacles because of at the root of what they were doing was a Seven of Cups operation. So, and what's to come in the future? Well, the FBI intelligence agencies, there's a Knight of Wands. There's a guy who took action. The data wanted a person who would take action on behalf of candidate Trump. And the active person, this is revealing, this is what I'm going to do. This is my glory. This is my majestic moment in time. And the state of California, it had to do with timing. Why the timing? Because of Pelosi being the speaker and what's happening with the impeachment hearings. So how do we see the intelligence FBI agencies with what they're dealing? There's the Judgment card. They are seriously judging what is going on and connecting the dots. Here we have the Nine of Cups, the Trump crime syndicate. Oh, it came up for, how is this seen? The data is seen as part of the Trump campaign, the Trump crime syndicate. How is that seen? Loyal to the dynasty. And here, Six of Wands, the state of California is hit by the Six Wands mob. Trump, Putin, Un, Xi, Netanyahu, MBS, Erdogan. And what's the environment like with all this going on? The FBI, they have the Eight of Pentacles. They're analyzing all the data in micro-targeting. The data has, the environment has, one, found someone who is a patriot and loyal to the United States, and two, the Constitution. Really pressing that hard. I mean, think about all the messages that we're hearing about how unfair this is, and Democrats, and this is all they're just trying to get him. And here's the active person that was targeted by data and probably angry with Pelosi with receipts. And here we go. California is having another emotional, insanely emotional moment. So what's the hope? The hope with the intelligence agencies is they know this is Trump Russia. They want to find that information. The Three of Cups data, remember I told you the Three of Cups? They are looking for the perfect person who will rise to the challenge, probably someone who has a big cache of things to do this. They want an active person who is super loyal to Trump and willing to die for it. This was discovered. This is Putin's ideal person. This active person, this is what his hope was, to hurt her, Speaker Pelosi. And here we have the state of California. They hope they can find justice for what happened. The fear is the Six of Cups, nostalgia card, having to go through this again for our intel agencies. The Justice card is what has been generated by the data that, this is the fear. They fear the justice. Fearing retaliation, fearing justice, finding out what they did. The active person has the Ten of Cups. They fear those people, those foreign people. They just fear that nothing's going to happen, that the Republicans are in trouble. And the fear of California, the world, the ending. People, Donald, Mick Mulvaney, Ivanka, and Eric Prince. Why would California have the worry about this being the end? End of a cycle, maybe. Oh, they're exhausted from this stuff. Next logical step for our FBI intel is the King of Wands. It's Putin. Data, next logical step, there's a fool, someone who took action, and hopefully that was delivered. The active person is someone who's very sympathetic to Trump, Russia, and they hope that they prevail. And for the state of California, the next step is the Queen of Swords. I'm not sure. I just guess this is Pelosi's just going to keep on keeping on. Final result. Intel agencies know that this was related to the Six Wands mob. Final result, the data produced that. The active person was the Knight of Wands. Donald, oh wait, where's the Knight of Wands? 10th house, public skies. Putin had the Knight of Wands because he's the one who's working on it with the data. Knight of Wands, Putin. Oh, and then the Federalist Society had this in their hopes, wishes, dreams, friendship. And the King of Cups, California, hit by Russia again. So that's what happened. And again, I remember when I did this for Texas, the active person was covered in all domains here. The data hit every mark. And the surround California, the setting, the environment, as in Texas, they had a lot of local GOP active with this. Crazy. Thanks, you guys. I hope that helps in some way in trying to understand what's going on. It's crazy. I feel like these guys using this data for this purpose, that they really had to kind of back off because it was getting too predictable. And that's what the statisticians were saying, that they were kind of expecting something to happen because it's been a while. It's sad that they were here with statisticians, but they're looking at predictability factors, and anybody using this data and provoking this should be very worried because it's refining more and more and it's replicating. I'm seeing what I saw in past readings. So welcome Friday. Looking forward to these impeachment hearings. Thanks. The closing commentary. I wanted to see whose district was where Saugus High School was, where this happened, and it was Katie Hill's district where she resigned recently. And so looking at her district, it was held since 1993 to 2019 by Republicans. And I've heard talk about how Republicans are trying to target these districts in California that went blue. Katie Hill's right in their crosshairs. They said a couple of weeks ago, it said October 31st, that if if Democrats try to impeach Trump, the Republicans said on October 31st, that was how they were going to win their district back. And October 31st, this is from the San Francisco Chronicle, they said Trump supporters held a rally outside Democratic Representative Katie Porter's Irvine headquarters 2 weeks ago, so in the middle of October, calling on Porter and the other targeted Congress members to oppose impeachment. These Democrats ran on the promise that they would get things done in D.C., but now they've joined Nancy Pelosi's baseless impeachment witch hunt, said former GOP Rep. Doug Ose, head of Trump's California campaign. And when the House approved rules for the impeachment inquiry Thursday, Republicans were quick to focus on the California freshmen. So they are going to target these swing districts. They believe impeachment absolutely is a key district. And so they're saying these Democrats were all about elected on getting things done, and now all people see from them is impeachment. Of the 95 battleground congressional districts, 55% of voters surveyed said it would be better to wait until the 2020 election to then move ahead with impeachment. And so this is why the data and California and impeachment. On the day that Roger Stone, his trial went to deliberation, and on the day before the impeachment hearing continues on Friday. That is the data part, the research part, and it was Katie Hill's district, which meant those red districts already have voting data. So they're using that voting data to try to micro-target people to get them to flip those districts blue again. This is so ugly. I am just like so not surprised. Oh, and here they're referencing Real Clear Politics polling average. Real Clear Politics is run by Steve Bannon, and you can go to the polling. You can see things change day by day. I still haven't gotten to this for you guys, but anybody can go look at that, and they can see what the narrative is, who they're changing, and how they're testing messages, and how it's affecting those people. So, and then lastly, the very last thing I have to say about this, I remember when I did the PG&E readings, someone asked about what are they doing about, the grid, and then it came up about the data, voter rolls, how turning off the electricity leaves things wide open to being hacked. And when I looked at hack, I got Page of Swords all over the place, and that information was, they were just pouncing because they knew that the power was going to be turned off, and so the systems would be vulnerable, and this is how they were going to keep attacking California, micro-targeting with propaganda, and then getting more personal data and information. Okay, so that's that. Thanks, you guys. Good night.